Bingo. That's us. We're there. Dang.
Bingo.
Welcome to the Patreon version of this show now. Isn't it cooler? I sure think so.
I can do
Appreciate
this too.
it.
Hold on.
3, 2. Wow. Now there's audio too. Video people, that didn't make it any more special.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I wish I could. But hey, if you're part of the $15 tier, guess what? You're getting a Christmas card and you're going to be on it and you're going to look so handsome. Aren't they? Look at him smile. Chin up, chin down.
I'm looking
chin
forward
down.
to that. It's going to be a fun little treat.
Oh,
fun
yeah.
little Christmas
And
treat.
I can't wait to send it out to you guys and have you guys be a part of it. But if you're the audio listener, you're like, what? Well, if you check out the $15 tier, just for the next 2 weeks only, if you join, you can be part of the Christmas card. Christmas card.
So that's pretty cool. So make sure to look into that. But Sam, you want to dive into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to do it? We're gonna so for Patreon exclusive content. By the way, if you want to watch the whole episode, that'll be going up in the next couple days. But for this episode, we're going to be talking about Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, and all the Titan stuff that we've been missing over the weekend.
Specifically, Jason Todd, Asylum, and a little spoiler-free review of Donna Troy.
Is that going to be the quality?
That was
you expect
really
from
good.
Wicked? Is that the
Yeah?
That's the type of a
It's
singing.
people kind of guessing. They're kind of jumping all over the place, and it's improv singing. There's no instruments. Okay, let's keep going.
There it is. All right, so we're talking about Legends of Tomorrow. Sam, what's the synopsis for this episode?
Oh, well, this is season 4, episode 6. Tender is the Nate, which is such a good title. Hank Haywood confronts Ava about the spending habits of the Legends. Mona tries to make a good impression with Ava, but her eagerness gets her and Ava stuck in a cell together. Boy, howdy, ain't that a fun synopsis. You were able to see this episode, right?
Yes.
Okay. It was, man, I love this show.
Yeah.
This show's great.
And immediately, Mona at least has a function, unlike Gary.
Yeah.
'Cause she's inexplicably is able to understand what these creatures need and how to take care of them.
But man, I will say as a criticism, wow, she's dumb. Like they're like, oh, but I'm in law school. No, you're not.
Yeah,
there's no way. There's no way.
There's no way.
Also, shout out to Danny M, Kevin, David Rodriguez, Kayla, and Villarreal for joining us.
Villa Killer Real.
But I did really enjoy this episode.
Agreed.
I like Nora, Ava, and Mona hanging out.
That might have been my favorite part.
It was really good.
Yeah, them being trapped in together. Also, I don't know about you. The second they're like, you should open it. She grabs the envelope. I'm like, 100% Ray's going to be in there.
I did not.
It wasn't until like literally seconds before it happened. I'm like, oh shit, it's going to be Ray, and that was great.
And he's been sitting in there
of course
because he got stuck in the glue.
Because of course, and I like that. I think it's interesting having Nate be working back at the office. Which, by the way, Nate had a weird speech as if this was his last episode.
Yeah, which I really hope that's not true.
Yeah. Nate's having Nate at the office and having Ray have Nora distinguishes them more. And also I like leaning into Ray just being adorable as hell with Nora.
Yeah.
I think that's a smart way to take the character in.
And it's like Nora, like she's trying to be better. Like she also might not know like what's gonna happen with her abilities because her dad made her join a death cult when she was a kid.
Whoops.
Ain't that the poop, guys?
Yeah.
Praise Bebo. Praise Bebo, everyone. Legends is the best. It's got everything. It's got action, laughs, birthday cake, Katie Lotz, everything. Katie Lotz, and that, yeah, wow. Do you have it? No?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't think to grab that.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, I don't want to get dinged.
This as right of.
I want to get dinged.
Nate saying hi to Natamaya.
But hey, you know what? I liked Natamaya in this episode. Charlie is her name. Gotta keep saying that. And I was also a really big fan of Hank Haywood joining the team.
Did Biff really play the guitar and sing?
Yes.
Because if he did, that makes me so happy.
I don't know about playing the guitar. I think he can, but he did sing.
That brings
actually
me
made me tear up
small amount of joy.
Sorry, not tear up. It made me choke up because I was like, oh, I don't even care about what's happening in the scene. His voice is beautiful.
Yeah.
And you got one
real nice
Back to the Future joke with like, we're going to make like a tree and get out of here. And he's like, I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really good.
Also, I like Salvador Dali and then Papa.
That is Midnight in Paris. That is 100% what the movie of Midnight in Paris is that, oh my God, it is exactly the plot. So, because
Do they literally go back in time?
Yeah, Owen Wilson is modern day. He's a very successful film writer, but he's like, I just don't feel motivated. And everyone in his life's like, oh, isn't Paris the worst? Ew. It's like they don't use U.S. money here. And you're like, why? I don't know if I like him or his writing sometimes.
I understand that.
Yeah, and but then it randomly at midnight, and there's one street corner, a Model T will pull up, and he can get in, and he can go back in time to this bar where Salvador Dali is. He was played by Adrian Brody, and you have Hemingway, you have the Fitzgeralds, everybody, every person from that era is there, and so
do they fight a Minotaur?
They close, but they do meet in a bar that basically looks the same, and they all
That's funny.
and the whole point is like this person who's infatuated with that era gets to spend time with those people and drink with them and share stories and everything. So it's like this is a more fun version of that. I do enjoy the idea of that movie, and I think the writers of this episode enjoyed it too.
I think it's one of the late era Woody Allen films that people appreciate, but I also have my weird feelings about him. But anyway.
Oh yeah, but I'll be honest, I kind of just wish somebody else made that idea of a movie, because I think
they did. It's called Legends Tomorrow. Tender is the Nate.
Yeah. Love it. But
and they fight a Minotaur.
And I think the premise of all those people being in Paris at the same time did happen.
Yeah, Lost Generation.
Yeah. Where are they?
I don't know, but that is the term that they threw out in this episode.
But overall, the episode was really good, and the Minotaur. I like them having to like try to figure out how to like subdue these creatures instead of sending them straight to hell. We're like, that's not the best one. That's not the best solution. Also,
bummer for the fairy godmother and the unicorn that we didn't figure that one out sooner.
Also, that the legends they're like, this is how big their costume budget is. I was like, I thought Gideon just made that out of nothing. Like
that's the thing. And then the food budget, like condiment budget, is like, didn't the food come on?
Oh, so I guess it costs like she has to like load it up and then she makes it, which I'm
that
like
actually doesn't
like
3D
3D
make sense. Yeah,
and I'm like,
make sense.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good continuity that they're building.
But it's also weird that like the Time Bureau is a part of the U.S. government.
Yeah,
like that feels weird.
I mean,
but sure,
why not? Yeah, and also just to be clear, you have Arrow breaking out of prison. You have Flash dealing with what is he dealing with this season?
Cicada.
Some meta murderers, and Legends is dealing with actual like mystical beings.
Yes.
Why is that the thing I can't buy? Why is that like when like this is a chupacabra, right?
The chupacabra is a stretch because it's not even really a mythical creature either.
It is kind of now, and like it's like
I know, but it's we know what happened there. But anyway,
but like and it's just part of that makes it weird for me to buy, but Baba Yaga's there hanging out, and Mona's having fun with them. But overall,
Mona's having fun.
The episode was so good, and I liked seeing them all hang out at the bar together. And they kept making fun of Dolly specifically, like they're like, I don't get the art, like it doesn't make any sense. And he drew the Minotaur, and I love that Charlie immediately was like, yeah, it's a Minotaur. I was like, yeah, that's him.
Yeah, and
he's like, and he didn't go into the labyrinth. He wasn't put there. He went to go hide.
Oh, and that's another thing. Acknowledging the catacombs between having the Minotaur and the cat. They don't do a lot with it because of probably budgetary reasons. But having the Minotaur be in the catacombs beneath Paris is pretty great.
It's a very spooky thing. I got to go through that.
Nice.
It's very just because it's so hard to grasp that those are human remains that are the wallpaper of this place. And they just stack them all up, and sometimes you see them like moved around, and I'm like, oh, that means some like teenager went and played with it or something like that. And you're like, that's gross. That's super gross that you touched that.
And then you pay bocce ball with it, and you're like, you know what, this is okay.
Actually, wait, hold on, I get it. It's like in Parks and Rec where she starts throwing the dog poop at the kids.
Yeah.
If you're missing out on Parks and Rec, if you don't understand what I'm referencing.
But yeah, this is another just a delightful, fun romp of an episode. It's cool having Nate bond with his dad, even though we do know we are led to believe, based on past episodes, that his dad's got some suspicious doings going on.
And I liked Charlie and Nate having to hang out, that they have a rapport as these two people.
It's so interesting to have a character like Charlie that doesn't have a comic counterpart. She's just there because they wanted to keep given that actress work. You know what I mean?
Because she's great. Yeah. And I really like her, and I like this like badass new character that they've introduced. But yeah, she's nothing. Like she's
and we didn't talk about last week's episode. Also great, dealing with the Kraken and the creator of Godzilla, and touching on Hiroshima, and that was super dark.
And also Mick like having this like softer side. Also, he brought porn to life.
He did. He 100% did. Well, it's not. What do you call it when it's like fan fiction or whatever? Like
it's fan fiction.
Because
it's
there is
erotica.
a story. It is erotica. But that fight is one of the best things Legends has ever done. Like
so good.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I love the Godzilla stuff. I was feeling like emotional. I'm like, this woman's kicking this octopus ass. I'm into this.
And also, it's like, I should have done a fourth boob.
He's like, he's like, no, three's fine.
Yeah, three's fine. And just that I've been following. I follow Dominic Purcell on Instagram because I sometimes I'm like, does he want to be here? And then I read more about it. I'm like, oh wait, he really likes this show too. Which of course you wouldn't. He has the ability to a little bit to like leave and he could go audition elsewhere. But like, I like everything that he brings to the show. At both episodes, I give him 9 out of 10s. I love this show a lot.
I would give this just because it didn't. Richie, I gave Arrow a 9, and that was like this crazy ambitious thing. I'm going to give this an 8.5 because this is just another delightful episode of Legends, which is great.
It's so cool that this show exists.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
And it's such a weird show. And I'm going to be honest, it's a little weird. Like when Nate, two things with Nate's speech at the end. One, it's like,
please don't.
It's
leave.
just him being in the office, right?
Oh wait, by the way, I did want to mention the piece of news that I read that I know a lot of people didn't catch, but he was not in the Wet Hot American Bummer episode because he's a new father, and there were complications after the birth of their daughter, and she was in and out of surgery. She's good now, as far as the last thing that I read.
Okay.
And so I think maybe, and they had to kind of do some reworking of schedules and stuff. So I think everything's fine now, and so maybe he might take like an episode or two off just to be, be a dad, and because there's, it makes sense, and it seems like everyone's very understanding of his situation, which that makes me happy. So hopefully, putting good vibes out there for him and his family and his daughter, and hopefully everything's gonna be good, and hopefully he can come back soon.
And the other thing is when he's like, just enjoy being a legend because who knows how long it lasts. It's like,
wait,
but
don't.
I hope the show doesn't go away. Well, but not just that. It's like I hope they're not like, hey, who knows if we're coming back for season 5? You know what I mean? Like,
come on,
because it always feels like the show's on the bubble, just because it can't be cheap to make.
Yeah, it can't be, but also give it 5 seasons. Give it 5 seasons.
6 seasons in a movie.
Give it 10. Come on, coward. Smallville did it.
Villa Kill Real. Do you think Charlie would get her powers back? I don't think so, because that would be weird.
What if she had like limited time with it, where it was like she kind of got stuck with this one?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's definitely some writing that you could do to figure that out.
There is something writing you could do to figure it out. You gave it a 9. I gave it an 8.5. We ready to jump to Black Lightning?
Yeah, so let's talk about the past 2 episodes. But here's the synopsis for our newest episode. It's season 2, episode 7, The Book of Blood, chapter 3, The Sanjay. And the last episode was The Purdy. Looker and her clan, her clan attack Black Lightning and Thunder. They fight to get her to release the Sanjay. Jennifer and Khalil continue to grow closer. So, quick thing. I kept denying what you and Roxy were pointing out, like that Jennifer was going to be dumb about Khalil. And I was like, no, I think it's just her trying to deal with what she's going through.
You were assuming it was still smart Black Lightning, and the past couple episodes have not been typical smart Black Lightning.
There's some cool moments, but no, it's not.
True.
It's not been the smartest. Also, the whole Gambit. It's just been this chapter, the Book of Blood. The Book of Blood's been weird.
It's been a weird one. Well, I texted you because during the Thanksgiving break, I forgot these shows existed, and so over the weekend I watched Black Lightning, and I had to text you because my immediate was when we flash back to Gamby, and he's in his crazy. It's the exact same Jeep situation as Nick Fury and Winter Soldier, and he's in that, and he hits a button, and a trapdoor opens up, the car flips, and he shoots out head first somehow.
He dives out,
and I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah,
that's. If we're dealing with a show with lightning powers, and we've got that run, like you were talking about earlier, Legends with the time traveling mystic, whatever, bullshit. That old man did a barrel roll out of the flipping car and is fine.
It's fine. No, not a scratch on him. Nothing at all.
Bullshit. And then as it goes on, like they introduce the Purdy and the Sanjay, and it just made me. First, having grown up in the South, typically. Poor Black communities and poor white communities where I was growing up were close by each other, and so there's an interesting, complicated relationship. And I was like, "Oh, that could be really interesting." That's not what they did.
Yeah,
that's not what this was at all.
Yeah, no, the white people got superpowers because of some goop that comes out of a lady, and then the Black people don't like them.
And weirdly, it's like we established early on that 100% Looker's controlling them.
And for a while,
they are under mind control. And yet we treat it like 100% they're the bad guys and this group of people is the good guys, even though one of them killed this girl's baby daddy.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're treating this like it's a super black and white thing.
But
it doesn't feel like
and that's why it's been feeling a little sloppy. Where it's
Yeah.
like, no, we can be against these people and be against the other people too. Because
Yeah,
it's like
we can be like, hey, this whole situation in South Freeland's messed up.
Yeah. Also, how far is South Freeland? Because it's literally feels like the South.
Yeah,
like all of
yeah.
a sudden it goes from a city to the
and
South.
they shoot in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
I get
that
it.
happens.
No,
you know
yeah,
what I
but
mean?
like
Yeah.
it's funny how as soon as you say South, it like, oh, this feels like the South now.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's for this, just focusing on this
Yes.
episode. I thought there were some cool moments and but also some dumb stuff with like I know Jefferson doesn't have a charge all the time.
Yeah.
And his suit charges him, but if he kind of runs out of that, then he's kind of bungled a little bit.
Yeah.
Unless he can pull it out of the air or from put his PP on a socket or something, and he can get the power out of that. But man, Looker's stupid for like hooking him up to a car battery and electrocuting him.
They even try to like hand wave it with some dialogue, like, "Isn't it ironic that you're going to be killed by electricity?"
Oh
no!
Praise Bebo, Church of Bebo.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
No, that's dumb.
Yeah.
You're dumb because we established last episode she got her abilities in the same situation, the testing situation that Black Lightning got his. She establishes that she knows about Black Lightning operating, like implying that she knows that this is somebody that got his abilities from the same thing. So she knows that it's from him, and it's lightning powers. And she shocks him, and she leaves, and he's like, "I don't get my powers from my suit." Yeah, I thought everybody knew. What was the plan here?
Or maybe people don't. Maybe people don't. But also the idea of
if anybody knew, it'd be her.
it's like trying to burn Johnny Storm. It's like this doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's like I'm going to set Johnny Storm on fire. That's his whole deal.
Also, you all had guns.
You all had guns.
Guns.
Don't get me wrong. The idea, like the visual of
Him.
the bed spring mattress and him, like it was a cool visual. And
That's why I like the episode more than you. I think it's because I like the visual, but I'm like, this is stupid.
And when he runs out of his powers and he gets in a fist fight, that looked rad.
Mm-hmm.
All the action, the fight between Thunder and Looker, rad, really cool.
Now, apparently Looker's okay, but I don't think she's okay.
She got stabbed, and then we got a picture of Jefferson meeting Gamby again. That was a cool moment.
All of her Terminator goop fell out of her.
Whatever, man. I don't know.
I don't know if that means the power's gone, but all the white people were okay.
Yeah, and then they're like,
Sanjay.
"No, it's fine." It's like, well, was it fine when you were shotgunning them in the face? And it only stands out more because it's like, yeah, they're mind controlled. Let's shoot them in the face.
but-
And then in the same episode, when Jennifer's like, no, we're supposed to feel bad for Khalil, and it's like, Khalil shot up not the same, but like he shot up a school,
Yeah.
and it seems like the show's like, hey, have empathy for this person, but not for these people.
Wait, but here's the thing, though. They are mind controlled, but at the same time, they are like running through all of these people and murdering them pretty quick to get to two babies.
Yeah.
And they are normal people. So what are you supposed to do?
I mean, yeah, it felt like some of the writing was like, hey, the situation is complicated, but the way it's played out is that these are straight up monster people that we should hate.
Well, no, I didn't get
That's
that.
the-
I got that they were brainwashed, and so yeah, they're monsters right now because they have zero control of what they are basically monsters. If a zombie came at you because it's being mind controlled, you're like that's or a person wasn't there acting like a zombie. That's a monster at that point.
It just felt like it felt messy. It felt the writing, everything about the acting. These past two episodes felt really messy.
I did like the inclusion of a deaf actor, which I thought that was cool, and I like that they acknowledge it without being like gifted, which I talked about earlier, where it's like, look, this mutant has Down syndrome and the X gene. Shush, shush, stop it. In this, it was just like he's deaf, and so you had Anissa being like, and they would talk back and forth, or maybe he was mute. No, he had a cochlear implant. Okay. But yeah, no, there's definitely saying this is dumb, especially like the drone that Gamby was like just kind of like skimming people with the bullets, and then he like got knocked down.
Yeah, and then we established that it wasn't the Looker's Terminator people that killed that girl's baby daddy. It was one of the Purdy, right? Those are the good. See, I'm even referring to them as the good guys, and it's like, and everybody's like, oh, well, no. You murdered a guy. Like
I don't think anyone was okay with that part. Though.
It was totally glossed over. Like it felt like, I don't know. It felt very, again, it felt very messy. It felt very like the show usually does really smart things with its like cultural dynamics, and this felt very one-sided and not very well thought out.
I would say it's sloppy. Definitely sloppy. I didn't feel it was one-sided, but I was just like, I think you may have opened a can of worms here, and then if you're done with it after this episode, that was a waste because you need to kind of unpack this a little bit and actually talk about like the dynamic of this poor, impoverished area, because like
Yeah.
there's a lot of issues here. And Looker moved in and took control of like
and took advantage of it.
yeah, and talk about that, but
Yeah.
you're not gonna.
Yeah.
And Looker maybe will just be a big bad in the next season. We just have
Or
to.
man,
Whatever.
I am fine if we just write off Looker forever.
That's
I
fine.
don't ever need to revisit Looker as a
Also,
character.
her powers is she does not have a white power in the in the comics. That's not her thing.
There's a version of her that's a vampire, right?
There's something like that.
Anyway, let's talk about how do you feel about
We gotta rate this. Hold on.
Khalil?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to Titans already.
No, how do you feel about
So an interesting turn. He did go into that school, but here's the thing. Here's a thing where we're on the other side of this.
Yeah.
When Gamby admitted, like, yeah, I drugged kids, and it led to a lot of them being captured by the government or just dying, and that's how you got your powers, and probably why your dad died. And I was like, blah, 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 and then I just had to kind of like be like, well, he's on a redemption arc now.
Yeah.
And then Khalil went in and did a school shooting and, basically killed Black Lightning, but because magic, he's alive again. Superpowers, whatever.
Yeah. Killed Jennifer's dad.
But basically at this point now, he's kind of in he's in an abusive relationship where he doesn't know how to get out of it.
I relate to that. I think my problem is
Jennifer.
I really don't like Jennifer. I don't like the way she's being written. I don't like the way she's behaving.
Last week was super dumb, where she was like
the worst.
She was like, let's admit, Mom, this is your fault.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying it's your responsibility.
Yeah, and in a way, your fault.
Like,
go
am
away.
I supposed to like this person? And then she's like, I feel like something that would have, because I do like the idea of the redemption arc, and I do like the actor of Khalil. Yeah, and I think if somebody I think I'd be more on board if he understood that like going around in secret with Jennifer isn't going to help me. I should go to Black Lightning and be like, listen, for one, Jennifer's not getting me out of this situation. You know what I mean? Like,
would you think about doing that? 'Cause
yeah.
I don't think that's...
I would go to the one good guy.
I don't think that's a logical step, though, because if in this scenario, Jennifer's not going to take him to the police. No, Jennifer's not going to do anything. He's just going to listen. This is, by the way, I'm going to acknowledge up front, their thing is confusing, and I don't like it right now, but... It makes sense for the characters. I'm going to go to the only person that I can trust, period. And he reached out, she ignored him, and now she let him in, you can talk, and so there is a rapport there.
And then I feel like the more mature response on Jennifer's part is like, hey, let's go to my dad. Because even though, listen, we can all admit Jefferson can get pissy, and he will get pissy.
Yeah.
But
pissy is a good way to say it, too.
And at the end of the day, he will do the right thing. You know what I mean? And he will help Khalil, and that will ultimately help Khalil more than whatever the fuck Jennifer can do.
And I get here's on Devil's Advocate, they've done the legwork this season to show that Jennifer doesn't trust her parents, and it could be, and it's for logical reasons from the parents' point of view. It's like it's not safe. We don't know how your powers are. We don't this, but from her point of view, and she's trying to understand. All she knows now is that she can't see her friends. She can't leave the house.
Yeah.
Her life is basically over from this point going forward.
Yeah, she's being a whiny, short-sighted teenager.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't. She not allowed to leave the house.
She can't see the big picture.
She's being a kid. She's being a kid.
She's being a dumb kid.
I wouldn't say that. I think they've done enough legwork to explain where her point of view is. I think they can write her pretty dumb.
Yeah.
But I don't think her decision making is when it comes to what's happening with Khalil. I think they've set it up as two kids who have abilities that they can't control, or they got into situations that they don't have any real say in anymore, that the control's been taken away from them, and now they're turning to each other, and that happens a lot. And I think there's a smarter way to handle both of these characters, and they haven't hit that yet.
Yeah, so
and I think they've missed it already.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like the show can find its footing. I think I might like. If I have to skip a show, I think maybe I'll start checking back in on Flash and let Black Lightning play out a little bit longer before I return. Because where it's at now, I'm not feeling it.
I can't. Okay, I don't think this is getting a third season, which really bums me out. I don't think enough people are even talking about it this season. Well,
I will say, I don't know what this means, but whenever I go to find images for the shows, it's really easy to find every other show other than Black Lightning.
Well, here another thing,
like the press photos.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
On IMDb, they've just stopped updating any images.
Cool.
Or even
which
synopsis
bums me out
stuff.
Because Black Lightning had such a strong first season, and just as a note, there's behind the scenes drama currently with the creator and showrunner, and who knows how that's going to play out and what the situation is there. But as far as the merits of the show, first season was great, and it just feels like it started off strong, but it just doesn't feel like it has that same
energy.
Yeah,
and it started. Wait, you said it started out strong.
Strong, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how it's because I like the idea of these books in the middle. Like in season 1, I was like, what in the hell are they doing with these titles? But it's
Yeah.
like, no, they're telling that this is how they're splitting up their stories, that for a season. I'm like, that's cool. And now it's clearer with like the title cards and everything. And this this book is not great right now.
No, and I even like the idea of like, hey, let's take a break from Black Lightning finding Tobias to fight another villain. Love the concept of that.
And Tobias isn't gone either.
Yeah, and I like a lot of the ideas that I think motivated this episode. I just didn't, or this book, I just didn't like it.
And
I just didn't like the execution.
I will say I did like Khalil and the pastor talking because and also pulling the gun on him. I was like, well, this makes sense. Oh, wait, they already showed that they had guns in the first episode of the season, which I like that they did a callback where it's like, yeah, Khalil, you kind of deserve this. You do deserve your pastor pulling a gun on you right now because you're acting stupid. And but he is trying to help him, and he literally doesn't have any way else to deal with this.
He's trying to old yeller at him, like throw the rocks at him, like, hey, get out of here. Yeah, and it's just not working.
Go on, get. But he's not having
and again, I do want to see Khalil redeemed. I just wish it wasn't necessarily so tied up in specifically his relationship with Jennifer, because I just, in the real world, I can't see any. He physically assaulted her dad and almost killed him. You got to deal with that shit first before you start kissing. I don't care how great her electric kisses
you're
are.
Right. See, that's what I mean. I do mean when it comes to writing that.
And I don't feel like the show knows
to.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't feel like the writers of the show are like, hey, maybe we should deal with that first.
Also, when they made the joke about having babies, I was like, wait, this isn't a cool baby. It's like some weird, like, poison blood
and also,
lightning baby.
Shouldn't Jennifer be super scared of that, considering the situation she's currently in?
But you can joke about it.
That's
true. Dark
it.
humor.
All right. So wait, did we rate it?
No. 6.
I'd give it a 5.
That's pretty low. I'd give it a 6, but it was low. The show has done better and can do better.
Yes.
Let's get over this book, though. Let's be done with the Purdy and the Sanjay and the Gambi being weird gymnast James Bond.
Yeah, none of us thought he was dead.
No. But let's move on to Titans specifically. Let's do a quickie review for episode 6. That was Jason Todd. We didn't get to do a full breakdown of that one.
You and I both enjoyed this episode.
No.
No.
Which I had to think about it. I was like, did I?
Yeah.
I liked the end where Jason took out those cops, and I was like,
Jason. You like Jason Todd? You
yeah.
Like the character.
I thought it was interesting, and I like that they really leaned into. He's an asshole. Like but he also comes from he's from a complicated. He has a complicated upbringing, which was interesting. But like I thought the episode, like it's another one of those for me. Spoiler, because we won't talk about this too much. I want to talk about Asylum.
Yeah.
The problem for me was that it was another, like, it's a Titan show, but it's about Robin right now. Which I'm not stupid. I know that the main pull of anyone who just vaguely knows Titans is going to watch is probably because of Robin.
I also think from a practical reason, if maybe we focus on Robin more because he's the easiest production-wise to do cool things with, because he doesn't have crazy shape-changing powers or fire powers.
And you get impressive physical feats, like that the actors, for the most part, are pulling off themselves, which is cool.
I do like that. I like the scene where he took off the cops, although for a second there, I was like, uh-oh, is this where the show jumps the ship for me? Because that's not okay. And then when Dick Grayson was like, hey, Batman wouldn't be okay with that, I'm like, oh, thank God, because that would have been too much for me. That would have been a bridge too far. And I like that in his absence, you kind of get a sense of Batman, because it's almost like this is the rebound Robin, and it's like Batman's making he's not thinking through some of his decisions, because maybe Jason Todd should have been vetted a little bit more before he got Robin status.
But you know what they didn't really focus in this episode is why he picked Jason. Like why I know they literally say why but they don't say the emotional reason of why Dick got chosen, why Jason got chosen. And it's like that's one of the big parts of the comics that I do like, is why it's these kids who are down and out, and Bruce does step in.
And I think if the show's going to keep going, we already know it's going to be the second season. They 100%. I really feel like the show eventually needs to have Batman show up to answer for himself, because we're getting other people's opinions of him, and they're not great.
No, or like an Alfred or something. Like, no, Batman.
It surprised me that we haven't gotten an Alfred.
Yeah, you got a silhouette of Batman.
You did get a silhouette, but I feel like he needs to explain himself, especially with the arc Robin's going on. I feel like having him finally confront Batman on an emotional level and come to a cathartic moment with his dad. He kind of needs that to finish his growth. You know what I mean?
But let's keep going to Asylum, because we did talk about this one. It's
also,
late.
real quick, acid guns, regular guns would have done the trick. I feel like regular guns would have done the trick. But yes, let's go to Asylum.
So in this episode, we had our Titans getting taken down by the corporation or the organization
Yes, the cult.
who created nuclear family. They've been after Raven, and also they start to explore more of Raven's powers in this episode. How like she can heal people.
And then the scary scene, take it back.
Which I will say, I've been a bit lukewarm overall with this season. I thought this episode, which internet does not agree with me on this episode. I actually did enjoy this episode more than past episodes, mainly because it was like, finally, just give me anything with the other Titans, and it actually was. They were good scenes with Raven.
Yeah.
They were a really hard moment for Beast Boy where I was like, he murdered a guy.
Yeah, and I kind of, it's weird because I don't need Beast Boy to murder people, but I do like the fact that in their decision to, when Robin's like, no, we're gonna we're gonna set this building on fire because it needs to be done. I don't necessarily love it, but I like that the show's not beating around the bush.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is what's happening.
Same, and but when it comes back to Beast Boy, it seemed like he didn't have control over it. I think he was surprised by himself, and that was the most interesting. That was the first like genuine mystery where I was like, uh-oh.
Ryan Potter, right?
Yeah.
It's also good that he's really good.
He is.
He does such a good job of, I have so much empathy for him.
Yeah. Like, I'm actually afraid for him.
Yes.
I'm afraid of this side of, like, a Jekyll and Hyde thing, where I'm like, I know I want Beast Boy to have more, like, animal abilities, but with this side of him, that might be no good.
I was kind of thinking his moment would be he finally learns to do like a rat and sneaks his way out. But that's now he murdered a
or
guy.
a big pterodactyl or something like that.
And I didn't love Starfire. Kind of got sidelined. A lot of our heroes got a moment where they like aided in their escape, and Starfire didn't really get that, but it turned out to be okay in the next episode because it pays off. Which again is stuff that, even though the show can be wonky, it gives me hope that it is maturing as we move on.
I'm excited to talk about the next episode as well, because I thought that was really solid.
We get a big moment in this episode where Robin's watching his suit burn. I don't know how it got out there, but whatever. He's watching it burn, and the implication being like, this is the implication, a signpost to him becoming Nightwing. It's the show going like, he's going to become Nightwing,
which is cool. Have that transformation in the show. Give him a moniker, Robin, and now he lost it, and now he's going to be something else. Whatever. Yeah.
I also liked that it's because he gets this moment where he's overcoming we inject his brain should be dead, and he's kicking people's ass, and I'm like, for real, like. I love Robin as much as the next guy, but like for real, and it's it's all in his head. Yeah, which was good. I like that, and he got they all got a cool escape. I really like the scene with Raven and the Doctor like working together. Be like, no, I take it back, and that's such a. Finally, the show did this thing I actually didn't expect. I kind of expected when he like talked about it, like this is going to be the reaction, but how they pulled it off, like just saying I take it back like a wish. It's just like this is scary. Yeah, Raven's abilities are scary, and I'm interested to see with her mom how they.
Her mom,
like what is there the lights? Because I know
it's
in the
Angela
comics,
Azarath, right?
Yeah, in the comics she's got Trigun, but I think in the comics it's like dad's a demon, mom's an angel, something like that. And so I don't know if they're gonna play like. Obviously, it seems like mom's not mystical, but like, is it the light side, dark side? You know what I mean?
One of the interpretations I read was that she was more of just a hippie. They kind of got like lost in a lot of the
in the show.
In different interpretations of Rachel and her mom, that she was kind of like this hippie, kind of like flower child that kind of like bounced around between like actual cults, like some of them more fun loving, and the other ones that like turn into like demon worship. That's where Trigun came from. That's where that like blah blah blah. So I'm like, I'm getting a sense of that now because she's so like, when you see her kind of talking to people later, she kind of seems like more loving and more open and more like touchy feely, and I'm like, I'm seeing like flower child kind of thing, which I don't know about angel. That would be interesting, but I'm getting more of human that was seduced. I'm getting human that was tricked.
And so now we're in a position where we kind of don't. I definitely don't think the Trigon threat is gone.
Oh yeah.
But it's.
There's no way it's in this season.
Could be.
Yeah, but
it feels like that's what we're building towards.
But like, are you gonna be done with though? I don't know if we're going to finish.
Not actually done with, but maybe confront. And I'm very interested to see, are we going to get full on Trigon, or is it going to be like how Smallville did Darkseid, where it's like, hey, possess Lionel.
Yeah. And you get like a shadow version of him for a second.
Yeah.
That one was dumb.
It was kind of dumb, except the actor that played Lionel was so good.
And I'm glad they brought him back for very few episodes in that season. It was a weird time on that show. But you're right, that actor who played Lionel was great.
So good.
And I liked just getting more episodes with the Titans. I want to watch this show for the Titans. I'm fine with the Robin show too, but since you said you're going to give us these characters, give us more of those characters.
It is called Titans.
Yeah.
It is not called Robin and the Titans, although it could have gotten away with that title with the way it's paced.
Also, Starfire's costume is fun. I like the full like leg one. Like that, I think it looks cool, and it looks like kind of like true to comics as well, but it also makes sense for her. So and I like that they established like really early on that like, yes, everyone has their limitations. Raven can't control what she does. Beast Boy, it's got one, and sometimes he can't control it. Starfire, nighttime's not a good time for her. Yeah. Robin, you could break his nose if you got a good hit in.
If you got a good right hook in there. What would you rate Asylum?
I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Cool.
I really enjoyed this episode. You're giving me more of what I want, and I'm excited to talk about Donna Troy as well. Spoiler free, but still.
Spoiler free, yeah. I would give it a 7. This was a weaker one for me. I feel like Roxy and you and then me are on like different. Like the ones you like more are the ones that don't quite click for me. This was a lesser one for me, but I'm still enjoying the show. And yeah, I'm also let's dive into Donna Troy, the one that is going to be coming out tomorrow. Or if you're it's going to be coming out tomorrow. So we're going to keep it spoiler free.
So here's spoiler free review for Donna Troy, episode 8 of season 1 of Titans. As the Titans go on their separate ways, Dick turns to an old friend, Donna Troy, for answers.
I was going to say, when I read that, as the Titans go their separate ways, I thought about you and Roxanne. I was like, I don't think this is going to be one for them. But unlike Jason Todd, which we talked about on our show earlier, I think this does better because Robin, separate ways. Once again, Robin decides to leave. But the show doesn't forget about the rest of the Titans. We actually get a lot of time with them interacting with each other, which I liked a lot.
I would like Dick to stop doing that. I would really like.
I think after this, I really feel like you've gone to that well at least one too many times.
You did it 3 times.
Yeah, you've
this
done
is the third time.
So it was Jason Todd this time. And then he was going to with Hawk and Dove.
That's still, I'm counting
that. That's fair.
He did the legwork to do it. It just didn't follow through because of the nuclear family showing up. And so I'm counting it. And
by the way, the nuclear family shows up in the DC Nuclear Winter Special, which is great.
Nice.
Made me happy.
That's cool. Go pick that up. Go read that. We'll review it on our comic book show. Little plug. Patreon.com/OnlyStupidAnswers. But yeah, I'm done with that. But this was a better balance. It was like, this is what I wanted from the Jason Todd episode. It's tough because you need to introduce Jason Todd, and that's a big character. Yeah. So I get that you need the leg room. I didn't enjoy that episode as much. I enjoyed this more because Donna Troy is another big character, but somehow they were able to give her the time to like tell a full story.
And you could make the argument that it's like the show is called Titans. Like these, even though she's not part of the team, her and Hawk and Dove and Jason Todd are Titans. They're part of the younger heroes. And again, something I've liked about this show, and I kind of wish more superhero shows would do, is this kind of like integrate more aspects of the world.
Arrow kind of did that with Human Target, where it was like, this guy exists, but he'd come in every once in a while, but he's part of the team, but he's not, like something like that. Or Arsenal, like he'll come back, whatever. Actually, that's more permanent whenever he comes back or he disappears again.
Yeah, exactly.
But I get what you mean, where it's like,
just like, this is the world we live in. We exist in this world. It's something I'd be interested to see if the Marvel Netflix shows could have integrated something like that, where it's their world that they share, and so you kind of, instead of each one getting 13 episodes, you kind of bounce around, whatever.
Yeah.
But I liked Donna Troy. I thought this actress did a really good job. I like that that it's interesting to touch her with one of these characters that she's fine. She legit has her life. She's got her stuff handled, because Hawk and Dove did not have their stuff handled.
Oh no! At first you thought so, but no.
Dick Grayson sure does not. But Donna Troy seems to be doing a-okay.
Yes, and with the acknowledgement of Donna Troy, that's acknowledgement to like a cooler side of this DC universe existing. Because at this point, if the Titans are there, Justice League's there, and introducing characters like this, it means
I got to remind myself it's spoiler free.
Exactly. So it's like, but good point. Yeah. But no, it's cool that acknowledges it without having to say anything. It's because Donna Troy is her own character.
Yes,
and she has her life together. Like you said, like she's a photographer, which we get to see in this. We have a promo image. Did you already throw that up?
Let's look at it one, but we can throw this one too. Yeah, she's
a photographer, which is cool. Yeah. Spoilers.
And the actress is really talented. And again, it just fleshes out. It's almost like whenever Supergirl throws out like Superman hung out with this person. You know what I mean? You realize that like, oh, dope. Superman's gotten to do some really cool things in the Supergirl universe. You know what I mean? This tells you like Robin's real not so happy about his time with Batman, but he's got to hang out with some cool people.
Connor Leslie, that's the actress's name.
Does great.
Yeah,
does great.
She was,
looks
and
the part.
and also like she's just so likable as soon as she's on screen.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, if you want to join, kind of like with Young Justice, where like all of a sudden like Zatanna would join up and like it'd be like halfway through the season, but she's a part of the team now. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if you did that with Donna Troy.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if because again, she's a classic part of the member. Also, I wouldn't hate if like Aqualad shows up. Like, like any of that. I do. Part of me still wants like. Part of me dreams of like, could we get Kid Flash and Arsenal and maybe those actors? And like, no, but it'd be cool.
No, but that would be really cool.
But it'd be cool. It'd make me happy.
Maybe you get Kid Flash like hopping dimensions or something like that. He's trying to find himself. Where do he find himself? Over on Titans.
And he would leave this universe pretty quick. He's like, you know what?
This is a nightmare.
It's kind of dark over here. I'm gonna.
Our people make blocks out of air and stuff.
You've got this little 14-year-old slicing people's throats and stuff. I don't need any of that. I'm out of here.
I'm not having it. But you guys do you.
But yeah, so unlike Jason Todd, this one we do spend some time with Starfire and Beast Boy and Raven, get to know her mom, and I really like this show, and I think it's something why it bothers you and Roxy when we don't get this more, because I really like seeing these characters interact.
And I think this did better. I really like Legends, by the way. Legends of Tomorrow. If you're not watching that show, you don't.
Yeah,
go watch it. But sometimes when they have to pair people off, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot these characters haven't interacted in a while.
Yeah.
But this one, since the ensemble is so small, you get more interactions with these characters specifically. Like basically up until now, we had the pairings of Starfire and Dick and Raven and Beast Boy, and that's it. And now we got and then we had like Raven and Dick hanging out, and now we get more of like Starfire and Beast Boy talking to each other, and you're like, awesome.
Yeah, and I like what they bring out of each other and their different perspectives.
Because in the comics, I'm like, I think you guys hang out. I mean, you're in the same room together a lot, on the same team, but I don't know you two talking a lot.
Exactly.
So good that you guys had it here, and also Starfire gets some badass moments. Good for her.
Yeah, Starfire gets some great stuff, and it looks like we're going to be getting more of her and her situation in the future, and I'm very excited to learn more about that.
Ooh,
because it goes in some directions that I didn't expect.
Oh yeah, the tease for this episode, for the following episode, it gets me extremely excited, which I'm like, this show, I'll be honest, hasn't done that yet. And so going into this episode, I was extremely excited because I was like, please, you can do this. You did Jason Todd. You nailed him. Let's do it for Donna Troy. Awesome. And now let's continue where this story. I honestly can't, based on where we've left Donna Troy's episode off.
Yeah.
And it's episode 8. That's episode 8 out of 12.
So we're getting near the end game here.
Yeah. And so I don't think we're going to be I don't think we're going to get close to the end of the Raven storyline that's been like the through line for this season.
Yeah, we'll see.
But that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing because it's a big story, and totally annihilating that in the first season. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's good to maybe like bide your time just a little bit, kind of build out the team, introduce more characters, introduce everyone to the universe.
Yeah, and I like, we get some more shades to Dick in this episode too, and I like the characterization, because even though this is a broodier version than you might be used to, he's not full on like Arrow from Green Arrow from Arrow or Daredevil. They're willing to poke some fun at who he is.
They can poke fun at him. But talking about Arrow and Matt, Oliver and Matt, their persona outside of their superhero persona, like their actual person, they have a way of faking being very charismatic, and I like that they can make a joke about that in regards to Dick and how he is as a human being. Yeah. So there's overall, this episode was super solid. I'd give it. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice. I would give it an 8 as well.
Yeah, I thought it was real. I think we're getting there. I think we got there. It took a minute.
Again, because again, like one of the complaints, one of the complaints with Jason Todd was that we didn't really get a lot of the other Titans. The fact that we got another episode similar to it, but we did, again, makes me feel like this show's learning itself. It's learning like, hey, got to remember these guys. You know what I mean? We got to keep doing that. So I'm very hopeful for the rest of the season, since it's nearing completion soon, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Oh man, it would be really cool to get like an Arsenal episode or something like that. Like, I know that's weird with everything with like Arrow's got that character.
Yeah,
there's not like wiggle room with that because he's pretty important to this season specifically.
But it'd be cool, and you're probably like me because you think about their dynamic in Young Justice, and it's like, I'd like to see this show's version of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And I don't know, like maybe just no, Red Arrow was on Arrow. Yeah. That's tough. It's weird.
It is weird, but I'm hopeful. Like, there's so many characters in the Titans world, and we've gotten so many of them already, that I'm very interested to see. And maybe, you know what? Maybe like you could say that the Flash's version of Wally is like the newer Wallace West one, and maybe we'll get a more I don't know. To me, it's just they're all just Wally West. To me.
Yeah.
To me, they're not different characters, but whatever.
What if you got Mossy Menos? That they
You know what?
for Teen Titans. Why
It'd be
not?
Super weird.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of the show's super weird.
But also, it's
which
pretty,
I'm into. You
it's
know what
creative that they have to. Oh wait, it is weirder when they're adults.
I mean? It is weirder when they're adults.
If they were kids, though, that's kind of fun too. Of having like these two speedster kids on
Yeah.
the team, because it's like also them not speaking English is also a very fun touch from the comics as well.
It's a cool touch. But let us know what you guys, once you see the episode, let us know what you thought. Let us know. I'm curious to think of what other classic Teen Titans characters you'd like to see. We're probably going to get Tara eventually, and that's going to be tough, probably.
Oh yeah, maybe Gnark.
Yeah.
Gnark. What's
Sure.
his name?
Yeah,
or,
no, you're on there.
Or Oracle. Oracle's one that's always in the Titans as well.
And originally they were talking about when the show was supposed to be on TNT that Barbara Gordon was supposed to show up, and so that would explore a lot of Dick's past on that one.
Confusing.
Yeah, but
super confusing.
But let us know who you'd like to see in the future on the show. Let us know what you think of the episode. Like we said, we gave it 8s. I'm DJ. You can find me at DJ Talks Trash.
I'm at Sam Basher. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for more stuff. And also, you can click around on the screen right up here, and you can join our Christmas card. That's $15 on our Patreon. If you join it in the next 2 weeks, you can be part of our Christmas card, and you can get that sent right to your mailbox. We're going to need that information, though. That's going to be really important. So don't miss out on that. Also, click over here for another video, and check out our Patreon for other bonus content as well. It's very fun. And until then, we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Real quick, Church of Bebo says Bumblebee, Mossy Manos, and Aqualad, and I agree with all of those.
Bumblebee.
Cyborg's going to be in Doom Patrol. He needs to show up.
Bumblebee, 100%.
Yeah.
Bumblebee would be great. And people would be confused if you mean the car one.
All right. We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.